Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. We're just going to take a couple of seconds to let everyone get into the webinar, but we're really excited to share some awesome news with you today. So we'll just take a couple seconds and we'll be right with you. Probably just give it another 10 or 15 seconds. We do see people coming in here. Really excited to, good morning, Brent. Hi, Warren. Yeah, really happy that you're here today. Hey, Christian. All right, let's go ahead and get started. It looks like people are really starting to come in here. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Daniel. I'm an account executive here at Minut alongside our panel. Niels, our co-founder and CEO, Martin, co-founder and hardware engineer, Caroline, partnerships, and Alondra, association and government affairs manager. Today's a very special moment for us here at Minut and for the many of you that have been asking for this new noise monitoring device. Myself being an account executive, speaking with customers and prospects on a day-to-day basis, the most consistent feedback that we receive as a team is, it'd be great if Minut provided an outdoor sensor. Well, today's the day. Our Gen 3 Amarillo outdoor sensor is officially launching today. Our team has worked tirelessly to get this right, and we can confidently say that this is the best noise monitoring product available on the market today. So we're really excited you're joining us today. We have people tuning in from over 50 countries, which is really always exciting, us being an international company, not just in our market footprint. I mean, we do have Minut devices in Airbnbs all over the world, over 100 countries to be exact, but our team works across the globe as well. Just on our panel today, we're representing 5 different countries. Niels is in London, England, Martin in Malmo, Sweden, Caroline is based in Paris, France, Alondra, Madrid, Spain, and myself, I'm in SoCal, US. So each one of our panelists will share a little bit more about today's launch, our new sensor features, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So please do send us questions, and we will get those answered at the end. And with that, I'll hand it over to you, Niels.
Thanks so much for that intro, Daniel. Likewise, I'm super excited to be here. This has been a long time coming. So really good to finally be here. So as Daniel said, like the focus on this third generation of the Minut sensor has really been to enable an outdoor monitoring. It's by far and away the most requested feature that we got. But those of you who have been with Minut for some time, you know that we're not ones to just tick the box and move on to the next thing. So with this third generation sensor, it's not just an outdoor sensor, what we're already doing, but it's really like the foundation that we will keep building on and improving the software for hopefully many years to come. And today we're going to speak about some of those capabilities, but we're also saving some of those capabilities for later. And we hope to see like a lot of exciting releases over the coming years. One of the things that we wanted to make sure when we set out to build an outdoor sensor was that we were going to learn from what was on the market and what we could do better. And one of the most consistent feedbacks that we got from people who were using competing solutions was that working outdoors, there was often like an add-on feature to an indoor sensor. So there had to be like a separate connection, which is obviously an easier thing to build, but we, speaking to our customers, we realized that there's a lot of people who actually just want outdoor noise monitoring. They might not have a problem indoors. So we set ourselves the target of making this outdoor monitor completely standalone. So you don't need to have any other sensors. You don't need to have an indoor sensor for it to work. Of course, need the Wi-Fi connection, but that's really it. Another common feedback was that there is a lot of noise outside that might not necessarily have anything to do with guests, and so what our competitor had done was essentially to say that for there to be a noise triggered outside, there also had to be noise indoors, because otherwise they wouldn't know that it is actually a problem outside. Us building a completely standalone sensor, and the first one that works really natively outdoors, we needed to come up with a way to suppress things like wind noise that is really, really loud, but of course not something you want alerts about. So those of you who know the previous generation know that we have on the device running machine learning algorithms that can do things like detect other alarms going off, or detecting broken windows or the sound of broken windows. And in this third generation sensor, we have leveraged all of that knowledge that we have built up over the years in on-device machine learning to do the opposite, which is remove sounds that doesn't necessarily should trigger an alert, such as wind noise. We call this new feature AudioID, and we really think it's beyond anything that you've seen on the market today. Martin will speak a little bit more about this later on. And then, of course, we are. Minut is so much more than noise monitoring, and one of the things that our customers have been using the device for is to monitor temperature and help set the right AC settings or heating settings in different climates. And we also got a lot of feedback that it's actually very useful to know what is the temperature outside when you decide what you're going to control your indoor climate for. So that is also going into our outdoor mode. Looking ahead a little bit and on what's not changing, we are offering this sensor at the same price as we do our existing indoor sensors. So you get a lot more features for the same plan price you're already selling today. And it'll work seamlessly with any other Minut sensors you might have. And we are very, very proud to see that some of the first sensors that we started shipping in 2014 and 2015 are actually still working. So there's no reason to switch out what's already there, and you can just add these sensors, and the software will make sure that it all works together really well. And even though this sensor has a lot more of intelligence and a lot more power than our previous generations, the same commitment to preserving privacy is always going to be there. So we're never recording any sounds. All of the analysis is happening on the sensor. No sounds are even hitting the network. So this is really what sets it apart from things like Alexa and Google Homes, where they would record sound indoors and send it to the cloud. That, of course, is a violation of privacy and not something that we would ever do here. We've also really double down on sustainability, right? Like, of course, Minut is or our mission is really to make short-term rentals more sustainable. And we mostly talk about that in how short-term rentals affect communities. But of course, the travel also affects the climate and the planet. So there is a lot of recyclable materials, and you'll see that we've really done a good job of like packing the sensors slimly so that we can reduce shipping costs, and you'll see that the packaging, etc., is recycled as well. So we're very proud to have taken this to the next level. And as I said, this is really just the beginning. There is a long roadmap ahead for another webinar where we will unlock the features of this third generation sensor over the years. With that, I'll hand over to my co-founder, Martin, who should get most of the credit for this.
Well, thank you, Niels. Yes, hello, my name is Martin, as Niels just said. I'm an engineer, one of the co-founders here at Minut. But before I introduce you to the next generation device, I'd like to just mention something about the team behind it. So we're an engineering team of around 20 people. We're situated here in Malmö, in Sweden, and we take pride in doing everything in-house. So we do both hardware development, software development, as well as manufacturing and supply management. This means that we have full control of the user experience, and we can support all aspects of the products for years to come. Right, next slide. As Nils mentioned, we listened to a lot to our customers, and we took in a lot of feedback. So these are the features that we'll talk about today. We have outdoor and indoor operation in the same device to get full coverage. We've improved the user experience for STR customers. We've improved the quality, and we've built a more dependable supply chain. I think we've improved the sustainability while keeping the sleek design and ease of operation. So what does it mean to be outdoor from a hardware point of view? It means that we've selected components that are able to operate in a very wide temperature range. We've coated all the electronics with a water repellent protective coating, so the device can operate in any humidity at any temperature. We've selected a special kind of plastic that is 10 times more resilient to the sun's damaging ultraviolet rays. And of course, it's also fully protected from ingress of water, dust, and insects. We've done a lot of testing to make sure this device will work under these conditions. So here on the picture on the right, you can see a device in our climate chamber that we use to simulate different environments conditions. You also run into a lot of problems that you won't have indoors. There's a lot more natural sources of sounds that you're not really interested in knowing about, such as wind noise, thunderstorms, traffic, animals, or construction work. We therefore developed the system that we call AudioID, as Nils mentioned. It's a two-pronged approach where we first use a dual microphone setup to cancel out wind noise. Secondly, we have improved the performance and power efficiency so that we can do more on-device processing. This means that after removing unwanted wind noise, the audio stream is sent to a machine learning algorithm that can fingerprint and identify sounds to reduce the amount of false positives. And that is really the key. And as with previous generations, nothing is recorded. Everything is 100% privacy safe. So we've also wanted to increase the user experience, or better the user experience. One of the most common feedback we get is that it takes too long to charge and the battery doesn't last long enough. This has been significantly improved. It will charge about twice as fast now, while the battery is designed to last for up to 2 years. We've also added a battery level indicator. So if you have cleaners that will charge the device, they can now check directly on the device and they don't have to look in an app. We've refined the installation experience. We now have voice prompts to help making the setup of the device even easier. And we've always cared about privacy, and having a device with like a top-notch security is part of that thinking. So with the new generation, we have further improved the security features of the underlying hardware and software. With these improvements, we hope that every customer can be as happy as the woman on the left in the picture is. So we have also worked a lot with the supply chain. Like a lot of things has happened in the world the past few years. The pandemic showed that industry, like the electronics industry, is very vulnerable. So we have moved our production from China to Sweden. Actually, it's very close to our office. The close cooperation with this factory and the fact that we're building the quality control system ourselves ensures that we have a very tight control of the quality. So along with years of experience designing and manufacturing devices, this results in a device that we think looks great, it will be easy to use, and it will be of high quality. As Nils also mentioned previously, we've worked a lot on the sustainability. The packaging is more eco-friendly. Since we're manufacturing closer to our customers, it leads to way less logistics. We've also chosen a factory that is top tier in their field. They have been awarded for and is actively working to better the social and environmental sustainability. We also design our products to be robust. We don't do planned obsolescence. We want them to last as long as possible. And I think the fact that we have units from 2015, hundreds of them still running, is proof of that. We will also keep supporting and updating the software for both the current and the new generation platform for a long time to come. So no device should be made obsolete from a software point of view. And we're doing all of these improvements while maintaining cost equity, so the device will stay the same price. Yeah, that's about it for me. I'll pass on to Alondra. So Alondra, take it away.
Thank you so much, Martin. As Martin mentioned, my name is Alondra. I'm based out of Madrid, and I am the Association and Government Affairs Manager here at Minut. We just touched on sustainability, which has been a big focal point for us this past year. And as we started to consider the long-term sustainability of the industry, it's impossible not to think about regulations. So I'm going to briefly talk to you, all of you, about regulations. I know it's everyone's favorite topic. So 2022 was the year of regulations. This is a year where we saw everything from a new requirement of short-term rental permits in areas where previously perhaps there weren't any, to attempts to even enforce a short-term rental ban in different areas. It's really hard to separate regulations from the long-term success of this industry. And for that reason, we always try to tell people, if you're just getting started or if you're looking at expanding your portfolio, take a proactive approach, do your research on regulations. A great place to start is actually associations, or by checking local news sites, also local government groups, because the regulations really vary region by region. And in part of the reason why we got so many requests for this new feature of outdoor noise monitoring is because of regulations. For those of you who have a rental in an area that requires outdoor noise monitoring, our new outdoor sensor does help to ensure that you are covered. Now, one thing I also wanted to point out is, some people ask, well, where do these regulations come from? How does this all start? Most regulations we find begin with an unhappy neighbor that, gets frustrated. They reach out to a homeowners association or a condo owners association, and eventually it gets loud enough to eventually end up at the, at the office of a government official. We really, try to encourage people to take a proactive approach with regulation research, but also to introduce yourself to your neighbors, to let them know what the property will be used for. But also, we find that when you introduce yourself, provide a contact number, and let them know, hey, I've got a Minut device, and you explain to them what it's for, it really helps to establish trust with your neighbors so that they know that you're doing things in a very responsible and respectful way. Now, I mentioned associations. Why associations? What is this? What are associations about? We work with quite a few because we find that they're really key to staying on top of upcoming and new regulations. They're often also run by fellow hosts and property managers in the area. They help out with everything from regulations to how to get a license, health and safety protocols, things like what's the best fire extinguisher to use for your property, what's up to code by the city requirements, and also how to handle those tricky like tax compliance issues. As mentioned, we work with quite a few. These are just some of the associations that we work with. I believe we're now up to at least 15 in various different regions, because we also find they're a great source for us to understand what are the new features that we need to develop. As mentioned, we're really proud of the fact that we listen to our clients, we listen to these local associations so that we better understand what are the features that our clients will need to ensure that they are abiding by those local regulations. And then lastly, I wanted to mention that associations really help you to present a united and coordinate an organized approach in case you are approached by any groups that might be against the vacation rental industry in your region. So I'll go ahead and pass it on through to Caroline. And before I do, though, I just wanted to mention too, if anyone is working with an association or would like some more information, feel free to leave a comment in the sidebar as well.
Thank you, Alondra. So, hi everyone. My name is Caroline. I'm the head of partnership at Minut, and I'm based in Paris, France. So today I'm very happy to introduce you how partnership has been part of the development and growth of Minut. On top of the value proposition that Minut is offering, on top of the device and the software that we have, what we're trying to do with partnership is to make our users' life as easy as possible. And so the way we're doing that is by working with some of the industry leaders, some of the companies that you're probably already working with. And so we aim to support property managers and hosts by removing the hustle of having to use many software at the same time. And the reason why we're doing that is because by fully automating the system, by fully automating all the software, we want to minimize the need of human intervention, so that way you can get your time back, reduce the management time, and put that time into something else, something that cannot be helped with technology, cannot be helped with automation. And so what we've seen by working with some of those top partners, we've seen that we're able to get faster results. Faster results, of course, with noise resolution. So we've seen that in 94% of the cases, guests will quiet down after the first notification. So after receiving the first message, guests will realize what's happening. And so 94% of them will just stop the noise, reduce the noise, or even move the party somewhere else if they still want to party. So what we're trying to say here is that communication and also automation are very key for you to run a smooth business. And so now I would love to tell you more about the company that we're working with. So here you can see some of our partners, and the list is not set in stone. We keep adding new partners every week, every month. One of them is Airbnb. So we have a great integration with Airbnb. And the way that this integration works is that when noise is being too loud, when guests are too loud, we're able to send a notification directly through the Airbnb app. And I think this integration is absolutely amazing, because we know that people who book through Airbnb use the app for communication. They use it a lot, they check it a lot. So that way you're sure that your guests will be able to see that notification and will quiet down very quickly. We wanted to make sure also that you're able to benefit from this great integration. So we also have an offer going on for everyone, every PM, every host using Airbnb, you'll be able to benefit from a great discount. We also work with PMSs. So here is the list of the PMS that we work with at the moment, but we're always adding new PMS. So here's the same way. We're trying to automate the process as much as possible, so you don't have to worry if your guests are decided to check in or check out later, or even if you have a last minute booking, the automation process will make sure to pick all the information up. And if your guests are being too loud, we'll be able to notify them through SMS or even an auto call. Finally, we have also smart lock and thermostat companies. So again, here we're trying to save you time, to bring automation to the process. So we're able to send your guest the smart lock code when they check in. And with the thermostat, we have a great partner, which is Tado. And so here we're able to help you run your AC or even your heat. And it's really important, especially in a time right now where you want to save energy and you want to make sure that you're not spending too much money on those kind of facilities. So again, we love to listen to our customers. So if there is any company that you're working with that is not in the list, any PMS that is not in the list yet, please let us know and we'll be happy to add it to the list. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Thanks, panel, so much. As you can see, I mean, a lot of really great stuff going on with this new sensor and everything that we're providing to the market right now, and really just glad that you're going to be able to take advantage of this new noise monitoring device. So we're going to open it up to questions. I've seen a couple come in and lots of very flattering comments. We're really happy that you guys are enjoying the minutes that you do have right now. Starting from is it battery powered? Is this device battery powered? Does anyone want to take that?
I can take it. Yeah. So as Martin said, our existing sensor had a battery life of just over a year, and with this one, we are Not immediately, but we're steering towards 2 years. But you can, of course, also run it plugged in. So if you have a really remote property where even going there once a year is not possible, then you can plug it in with a regular USB cord as well.
Perfect. How cold or hot can this device withstand?
That's a question for Martin.
Yeah, in Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Yes.
So we say minus 10 to 50 degrees ambient temperature Celsius, or that's 14 to 122.
Perfect. Where should I mount the device, outside or inside?
Do you want to take that one else? Or should I?
No, you go, Martin.
Okay. So outside, I think as protected as possible. Anywhere near where people would be noisy, whatever you want to protect. But also, of course, anywhere where you also have Wi-Fi connection. If you don't, it's going to be a bit tricky for us to communicate. And indoors, so outdoor, we're not going to, I don't think we're going to enable the motion sensor outdoors. But indoors, you'd put that in the ceiling where you want to be able to measure where people are moving around. Preferably not kitchen, maybe, but possible if you want to.
Can it be mounted? Can the device be mounted vertically?
Yes, it can. It's preferred in the ceiling, but it can be mounted vertically. It depends on the motion sensor. That one is designed to sit in the ceiling, but if you put it on a wall, it will also work, but the coverage will be lower.
Okay. What is the range to pick up the sound?
Depends on how loud the sound is. Sound as it travels will get weaker, so it depends on what kind of setting you have. But generally, if it's indoors, I mean, we're seeing if people are throwing a party and you have a reasonable size flat, one device should be enough. Outdoors, of course, depends on how close the party is to the microphone.
Okay. Let's go back to the temperature withstanding. If it gets colder than negative 10 degrees Celsius, will it damage the sensor or just start working up again once it warms up? And can it also withstand multiple freeze melt cycles?
Yeah, I mean, so we specify minus 10. We've tested to minus 20. It will do multiple cycles. It might start to shut down at minus 10 because basically it's about the chemistry and the batteries. The battery technology is not there yet. So if it gets much colder than minus 10, I'd be worried. But on the other hand, do people tend to party outside when it's that cold? I don't know.
Fair point. What is the IPX rating of the new device?
We haven't IPX rated it yet. The design goal is somewhere like 65. But I mean, it can take a bit of rain, or it can sit outside in the rain. It's fine. We actually run it in a dishwasher in the office, and it worked as well. I think it's fine.
Can you tell us the measurements of the device?
I don't have that in my head, but it's about 3 centimeters tall, 3 centimeters tall, and 12 centimeters across. I'm sorry, does it work with the units I'm using, or do you want Imperial?
Yeah, I know. I think that works.
Okay.
It fits in your hand.
Yeah, it fits in your hand. So it's flatter than the current generation, but it's slightly wider.
Is there a plan on improving occupancy count? I guess talking about the Bluetooth detection works pretty well, but maybe Martin, you have some context there.
I can't really comment on that one. I've not been working on that specific feature. We could connect you with someone who has, or maybe if Nils, you know about this one.
Yeah, so currently the occupancy is counting the number of iOS devices that are nearby. And the reason that we do iOS devices and not Android devices is there's a difference in how the operating systems work that make it use a lot more power when we try to detect Android devices as well. Since the purpose of this is really to detect when there's a large crowd gathering, it works quite well for those for that purpose, but it doesn't do the people count where you would have 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't give you that accuracy of the number. We do have some ideas about how to improve that in the future, but I don't want to commit to any timeline there.
Regarding the features, will smoke and fire detection be available?
No, this is different. So the smoke and fire detection is very, very heavily regulated, and it's almost not possible to build the feature set that we have in our Minut device and combine that with the new regulations that you need for smoke and fire alarms. So unfortunately, for regulatory reasons, those will always have to be separate units. The Minut device, this generation, just like the last one, will of course recognize when a smoke alarm or gas alarm is sounding. So in a way, it does help you to detect when something is running, even if it's not one of the smarter new fire alarms.
How many mobile devices or Bluetooth devices can the sensor register at once, detect altogether? Is there a limit?
I don't know that there is an upper limit there. What happens, of course, when there is like a stadium filled with people is you will saturate the radio, but it really needs to be very, very large amounts of people.
Mm-hmm. Will this new outdoor sensor withstand salt air for some of our ocean properties?
I think like being close to the ocean, it should work. I wouldn't recommend putting it like on a sailboat in the ocean. But like I live close to the ocean. I have one on my balcony. It's been fine.
How is our responder service going in the UK? What are the chances of a false responder call out if the new sensor is used outdoors?
We've not had a false alert generate a call out in the UK as of yet. The responder service is going quite well. The challenge we have in a way is the automated messaging is very, very effective. So the number of times when we have to send a responder is actually quite low. I think there have been fewer than 100 to date. In the cases when we have had to send them, all of them have been successful. There hasn't been one where the guests have ignored it or continued after a responder has arrived.
Awesome. You mentioned that AudioID would filter out certain noises like wind and construction. Would it be possible to use the AudioID feature to notify via the app of certain noises it does pick up? For example, I'd really like to know about nearby construction noise if possible, so that my guests are aware.
Not initially. So for the moment, the features that we expose is the alarm recognition. So if you have another burglar alarm or if something else is beeping, it will pick that up. Smoke alarms, fire alarms, and then the window break detection. So broken glass sounds. And then on the sort of removing the false positives, those are focused on wind and sort of nature noises at the start. But of course, this technology sky's the limit. There can really be a lot of interesting use cases. And if you have one in mind, let us know. And we read all of the feature requests, and we always consider that when deciding what to do next. So even if it's not there today, we could certainly get to those things in the future.
Is there a way to put the temperature, or is it on the roadmap, a way to put the temperature and or battery life on the front page of the dashboard?
On the front page of the dashboard. So this generation has better battery management, so we can get more precise. Typically, the most common way that people will be notified of low batteries via the email or the push notifications. If you want it on the front page, again, let us know. That's a feature request, and it would be good for the designers to know that you want it that way, and then we can consider an update in the future.
We are almost out of time here. Does this device, can you talk about the speaker? Does it record conversations? Are we listening in on guests? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I think, like we mentioned a couple of times now, all of the analysis is done in real time on the device, and no sound is ever stored. So there is no recording, and there is no way to go back or hack the device to get to conversations. It's simply just not there.
Perfect. This is most of the questions. We did try to get to all of them. We did see some questions about sales and partnerships. If you have any questions related to getting started with a plan, or inquiring about partnership or integration with your PMS, please get in touch with us at hello@minut.com. You will be receiving an email with this recording, as well as additional information, contact information. So get in touch with us. We'd love to learn a little bit more about your specific noise monitoring requirements and how we can best support you. Until then, panel, any final words?
Yeah, I see all the questions coming in, and I'm realizing that we're not going to be able to cover all of them. But email us, and we'll get back to you. And thanks so much for checking in.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, wherever you are in the world, have a great evening, afternoon, morning. We will see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.